All right, we are about 5 miles to the west of French Valley Airport, which is in the Temecula Valley. This is actually right over the right wing is Old Town Temecula. And then out basically to our 2 o'clock is a really beautiful region in SoCal, the Temecula wine region. All these are wineries out there, and there's some actually pretty good ones. This airport is one that my instructor Brad and I went to a lot for traffic pattern work and some emergency procedure demo, because it's a very long runway and relatively quiet for being an uncontrolled airport. So it's a good place to, as a student pilot, go and practice some things. But it's in the Inland Empire. It can get very hot. It's also very brown. Whatever time of year this scenery was taken, it was much greener than it is right now. But it's a cool airport. It's got a restaurant and a nice little, not FBO, but kind of terminal, little mini terminal, and it's really great. This is the airport that we did the real world 4LE fly-in this year, the first annual, and it's a really fun airport. Quick flight from Orange County, but if you're looking for an airport in the simulator that's kind of a SoCal hub that is uncontrolled, this is a really good one because it's essentially right in the middle of the LA Basin and San Diego area airports, and it's got a nice long runway and jets operate in and out of it. So it's a good kind of hub airport for SoCal. French Valley traffic, Skyhawk 204 Lima Echo, crossing over midfield, entering left downwind, runway 18, full stop and go, French Valley. JP, what's up, man? Happy Monday. Is it still Monday for you? I think it's still Monday for you. But this is a very standard airport, which is nice too. You've got 1,000-foot traffic pattern, nothing goofy with the pattern itself. There's a couple little noise abatement things you got to be mindful of a little bit, but overall it's residential, kind of quasi-rural area, so that helps with a lot of the noise abatement stuff in SoCal. Almost every airport will have some sort of noise abatement procedure, but the scenery here, and this is not the first time. Well, happy Tuesday afternoon, JP. This isn't the first time I've been here in the sim, unlike some of the other airports we'll check out. But this is one of the better represented airports, partially because of the surrounding area is a little bit flat and simple, and also partially because, as you'll see, the terminal and restaurant is actually rendered with the geo photo, whatever you call that, photo geometry. French Valley traffic, Skyhawk 204 Lima Echo, turning left base, runway 18, French Valley. But it's a quick flight. Like when I took Julia here on our fly-in, we hopped over the mountain. I mean, it's a 20-minute flight or something. So it's really, really quick, nice, easy flight for us leaving John Wayne, which is cool because this is one of 3 restaurants in the SoCal area, in all of SoCal, that is on the airport grounds that you can park at and that's open for dinner. Most of the airport cafes are all open only for lunch. So this is really high on a lot of people's lists for destination airport, because flying in the evening in SoCal is so nice. It's cooler, it's quieter, it's really, really, really nice. So this approach here right over the road, I'm a little bit high, looks super good. Like I said, the grass is a little bit on the green side, so this must have been after a nice shower. Look at the size of this runway. The new patch, JP, is actually pretty good. It's broken a few things. I think one of them is the transponder in the 172, which is unfortunate. It still works. I just can't see what the code is. so I had to have the controller kind of confirm what beacon code I was on. I haven't been able to, I don't really fly that many different airplanes just because I like to stick with the planes that actually work. So it's great on the 172 and on the 152. But we're a little bit far away from the restaurant here, but you can see that it's actually built out. Usually this will either be flat or will be like a autogen pre-placed building. So at altitude, this looks really good. Coming up close, it doesn't look great. So if you were to park here, it looks a little bit wonky, but it's not too bad because, again, the whole area is pretty flat and pretty simple. So it really comes off a lot better than a lot of the busier, fuller airports do because of just the type of location that it is. This looks and feels like French Valley, except for the fact that there are not very many airplanes on the ramp. It's not very full. So it's if you were flying the Midwest, you'd have a lot more luck with airports looking more like they do in the real world because there's not much to them versus places like John Wayne or Burbank or Ontario, these SoCal airports, which are nestled up against very, very urban residential areas, which is kind of when the scenery in the simulator starts to fall apart. Okay, so that is French Valley, and you can see here that we have a lot of runway left. And what I wanted to do is show you guys a maneuver that my instructor Brad showed me for real at French Valley here, which is the impossible turn. Somebody must have linked the YouTube video pretty recently because the views on that video shot up recently. Kona Stevie, thank you for following, welcome. So somebody must have posted it somewhere or something, but this is the airport that I did the impossible, I was at the controls, but Brad was at the controls for the impossible turn. So I'm going to take off, climb to 500 feet, kill the engine, and try to make it back to the runway. And we've already used up a fair bit of runway right here. I would say that's probably 2,000 feet. I landed at the 1,000 footers, and we probably had at least 1,000 foot ground roll. So let's say we've got 4,000 feet of runway left. Mr. Tangible, yes, we do lots of bush flying. But it's amazing to see how violent this maneuver is. But with a 6,000 foot uncontrolled runway, beautiful surface, it is really nice to practice this kind of stuff if it's quiet. So what we did is we climbed out to 500 feet, and that's at the basically at 2,800 feet. 2,700 feet, I guess. And then pull the power. And what you can see is that we chose to go left because there's some rising terrain to the right there. So that's why I'm going to go to the left here and see if we can replicate the impossible turn. Okay. And power out. So what you don't have the... Awesome, Microsoft. That is definitely not how this plane reacts with that. Okay, so the impossible turn in Microsoft Flight Simulator is in fact impossible. Good to know. French Valley traffic, Skyhawk 204 Lima Echo, landing 36 French Valley. That is really, really funny. I had not tried an emergency in this thing yet. Holy crap. That is, that just stops immediately. Wow. I love the sounds when it lands. What's up, Nuke? How's it going? Wow, really did not go like I thought it was going to. You know what these simulators have felt like, X-Plane in particular, I've noticed it a little bit here, is that it does not, the planes do not slow down. They do not have much drag to them. So I thought for sure that that was going to be a piece of cake. So what I'll do next was the other emergency maneuver that we did is the 50-foot engine out. And this is probably more eye-opening than the impossible turn. And I'm not going to come to a complete stop like we did, but you would be amazed how much runway you actually eat up even just after 50 feet. So there is, and I guess I was 100 feet less. This is calibrated for 1300, which is a little bit off, but so we're gonna get to 50 feet and then kill the engine, and you can see how much runway we're gonna eat up here. And that's really a it shows you how much you really do need to plan for an engine out at every stage, because 50 feet does not give you a lot of room. You know, a lot of there's 1,000 feet. Okay, there's 55, and we're up, and 50 feet, and you got to get down. What's up, Captain Burgirl? You have to like throw it down, and that's knowing that it's coming. We're anticipating it. That's without the look at how much air runway we have left. You know, 1,500 feet left of runway, and that's immediately recognized. I mean, that's pull power, push the nose forward, which is not a realistic method of doing that. And seeing that demoed is really eye-opening in real life when you're thinking about emergencies, because you're going so fast. It's crazy. What's up, Jeff? How's it going? Yeah, burn the brakes. I mean, it just you gotta like shove the nose down, get the plane down right now. French Valley traffic, Skyhawk 204 Lima Echo departing to the south. French Valley last call. We didn't really do a good job of our radio communication on the ground at French Valley. But the other benefit to French Valley, besides the long runway, besides the fact that it's untowered, and besides the airport cafe that's open for dinner, is its location relative to Fallbrook, which is my favorite runway in SoCal. Not my favorite airport, but my favorite runway. And I believe, and Brad will probably back me up on this, this is the most difficult runway to land at in SoCal. It's not the most difficult airport, but it's the most difficult runway. And there's a important distinction there, because the most difficult airports in SoCal are Catalina and Big Bear, and that is, you know, altitude and weather and hazard specific. Fallbrook has a short, narrow, steep, cliffs on each end runway. It's not a difficult location, but the runway itself is pretty tough. How do you like VFR San Diego? Dude, I love flying VFR anywhere. It's the freaking best, man. Especially in SoCal. Oh, this is the best. This is the best. But all you got to do is fly straight out from French Valley, and you will hit Fallbrook. This is Temecula. Here is the Temecula Mall right there. I used to work right off my wingtip now. Wherever my wing is where my old office used to be. Enterprise Circle North. So I'm pretty familiar with this area. And there's some really great driving roads. One of my favorite driving roads in SoCal is Mount Palomar, which is right over there. Oh my God, that place. That, if you've got a fun car, fun lightweight little car, you can rip that mountain up. It's so good. Fallbrook traffic, Skyhawk 204 Lima Echo, 10 miles to the north, inbound, stop and go, Fallbrook. I'm going to have to really spot land this thing because there is not a lot of runway, and I don't want to do a full stop taxi back. Oh, you're talking about the scenery? Oh, Latin via. Oh, got it. I see what you're saying, Jeff. I do not have any updated scenery for the San Diego area, so I don't know. We're just gonna be checking out the default stuff. How do you like that airplane? This is great. Yeah, this plane is one of my top favorite airplanes in Microsoft Flight Sim. Number one being the 152, and this one it's a second place. I was gonna say a close second, but 152 is more fun. I think it's a lot more fun. But yeah, the benefit of it, and just looking at it as part of the sim, because obviously if you're watching, you at least have some interest in Flight Simulator. But it's a great airport because you've got easy access to all the SoCal airports, especially in PilotEdge. I like having a home base in PilotEdge. I like having a spoke that I can go travel and come back to. It helps. It helped me initially to learn procedures, taxi procedures, being based out of one airport, because if I would go challenge myself...
I'm pilot.
What's up, Ryan? If I challenge myself by going to another airport early on, it was nice to come back to an airport that I was familiar with. So if I go to a new airport that's got some complicated procedures and come back, or do a Bravo transition and come back, it's nice to finish the flight back home. Coming back to, I know I park at the same spot, I take the same taxiway, and it enabled me to learn and challenge myself, but then kind of reward my learning by coming back to a familiar scenario that I can navigate much easier. Fallbrook traffic, Skyhawk 204 Lima Echo, 5 miles to the north, inbound, full stop stop and go, Fallbrook. And this one, you can tell here. Can you spot the airport? Because I cannot. It is such a pain in the ass trying to find airports in SoCal. I think I see it. Okay, I think we got it. I used to take students who had a hard time landing on Centerline to French Valley because the runway wasn't 150 feet wide. Would have loved to use Fallbrook, but like you said, the runway is short. Yeah, it's narrow, but not like scary narrow. And you can do, with 6,000 feet of runway, you could do the hover, the slow flight over the runway, and that little exercise, which is pretty helpful for centerline stuff. I will start doing that home base in VATSIM. I was just flying all over the place. Yeah, when you're flying all over the place, you don't ever get the repetition that real-world flight training gives you and helps you to build upon, which I think is very, very important to do. So having a home base, even in the sim, might add some repetitiveness to it, but that repetitiveness will help you learn. Aussie in space, thank you so much for the raid. 34 people. Welcome, everybody, from Aussie's stream. That is super nice, man. Welcome aboard. Rum Runner, North Carolina, what's up? Oddsmaker, thank you. Aussie in space, thank you guys for following so much. That's really awesome, man. What's up, dudes? Welcome. We love it. Okay, so we are on a nice straight in here for Fallbrook runway 18. And this airport I am very particular about, and a good friend of the channel's did an update for this on X-Plane that looked fantastic, and this one we'll see how it looks. but this is a crazy airport in real life, and it usually doesn't translate into a flight simulator very well. It's right up against some restricted area, and that makes it a little bit tricky as well. You do not want to fly. I mean, it's like it's on that line right there where you can kind of see the building stop. That's restricted airspace. That's how close you are to restricted airspace. You have to be very, very careful of that. So it's got a good slope to it, but I mean, it's better than the default X-plane. Oh man, I'm not gonna make it
final runway 1A.
short enough. I'm not gonna make it short enough. I was just looking at my speed and going like, oh god, I am way too fast. But let's see if I can at least get it down on the numbers. So this does an okay job of showing kind of how short and narrow it is. It's got a lot more elevation variability to it. Okay, flaps up, hard on the brakes. So here's Fallbrook. Not a great representation of the airport versus real life. It is like, trust me, it is a pucker factor when you fly in here for real. And I had flown here, I think, after going to Catalina twice and Big Bear once, and this one was like, whoa. This taxiway that we're on right now actually dips below the runway. It's showing it all as one level. But yeah, it's I hope Raven Simulations is who did the update on X-Plane. I hope he is able to work his magic on this one, because it's so sketch, man. It's so sketch. Yeah, and Rivercom knows, having been to Fallbrook, that that approach, I mean, it's just like a sheer cliff. It's crazy. I was having a hard time with centerline with a wide runway in crosswinds. My instructor took me out to a 60-foot wide runway and made me practice there. Not an issue anymore. That's awesome. In real life, you have to pay for ATC services and landing at airports. No. Nope. That is all part of the national airspace, which we get for free. Some airports do, like some airports you do have to pay landing fees, but most you do not. Let's pop out here and just take a look. So just like a little bit. I mean, those hangars do not look like that. There are hangars there, but that's not a great depiction of them. That is a little parking lot with the windsock on that, and that. Yeah. So right here, this road, this is not flat in real life. This is like a sheer cliff face right here. So this road is probably about 15 feet below the runway, and you can see the dark shade right there, the shaded area. That's from the ortho scenery from that angle. It's really, really steep. And then you can see how steep the surrounding terrain, which looks to be a little bit more accurate, kind of up on this mesa, that you're landing on a pedestal in this, and it's pretty cool. And this airport does have some pretty strict noise abatement procedures, which we're not really going to be bothered with too much, but you basically fly out to a certain altitude and then turn left to beam a water tower, which we'll try to see. We'll see if they have that. But right now, we're going to be heading off to our next airport. And let's see. Let's get back in the plane. It's such a cool airport in real life. And if you will indulge me for a moment, because I feel like this is not doing this airport justice. I will show you quickly. what it looks like in the real world. Low approach. So this is one of the times that I have been here. I was in the right seat for this one. So I was
turn final 1A Fallbrook.
I was able to pay attention a little bit more.
Fallbrook Bonanza's turn final 1A Fallbrook low approach. Oh, gonna have to G this one up.
Oh yeah.
A little overshoot. Speed's good. Power's good.
See the cliff there?
Power's coming.
Yeah, man. Oh, and look at the end of that drop off at the end. I didn't get to see that the last time.
Yeah, you were a bit busy.
Yeah, that was like straight off.
Cool little airport.
I was a bit busy. Yeah, let's see if I can stop it where you can actually really see. Like right about there, you can see how this road drops well below the runway right there. And that really makes, when you're trying to hit the numbers for this short runway, you do not want to come up short, man. You do not want to come up short. So that is why I like that airport so much, because it will wake you up for sure. Yeah, Ryan, remind me. I can. Yeah, that's a fun one. What are we doing? Fallback traffic, Skyhawk 204 Lima Echo, departing runway 18 straight out. We'll be departing to the southeast Fallbrook. Actually,
Entered runway 18.
can't really do a straight out with the
2,100 feet remaining.
airspace, really. Cleared to the left, cleared to the right. Flaps are up. Mixture should be in. Full power. So French Valley, I give that a minus. Give French Valley an A minus. I think that might be our first A. Fallbrook, I give a C minus because it's way better than X-Plane default, but not lacking in a couple key areas. But overall, still pretty fun. Apparently, our connection is lost, but we're still plugging away. So yeah, A minus and C minus. And the water tower appears to be a building for some reason. You can see right there, kind of on that little hill right there, that's the water tower. So right when you're abeam the water tower, that's when you can turn your left crosswind. Yeah, I would love some more Pipers, man. Yeah. I know, I love a good Piper. Fallback traffic, Skyhawk 204 Lima Echo, left crosswind, departing to the southwest. Last call, Fallbrook.